Welcome to the Daily Exchange. We're here talking with Travis, and we've got Joel, the man himself from Bad Crypto. Guys, welcome. And we're talking about Bitcoin absolutely melting all over the place. We don't know where this market's going to go. The Bitcoin Cash hash wars continue, and SEC coming out and kicking some ass. We'll see you guys right after this. Welcome back, guys. I'm here with Travis Wright and Joel Comm, co-hosts of the Bad Crypto podcast. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Daily Exchange.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fred Shabesta. Glad to be here.
Yes, we are excited. Down under. We're down under.
You're down under is excited?
I'm over upper.
We just, so we had, we need a bit of comedy right now because we're in this. We had a chat about, I think it was a couple of months ago, maybe. We had the Bad Crypto podcast. We talked about how to survive a bear market, bear market, and which was super awesome. And you know, you guys have just crossed 7 million downloads of your podcast, which is an incredible milestone. Congratulations on that as well. And the podcast obviously is for the crypto curious and the crypto serious. How would you describe your podcast, guys?
As the podcast for the crypto curious and the crypto serious.
I mean, you literally took out our description.
Yeah, that was it. We're just between Travis and I, we've got 40 years of technology, experience in the online world. We're authors, we're speakers. Technology has been our jam for a long time, and this show is designed to make crypto easy for people to understand, and it's infused with our natural 12 and 13-year-old sense of humor. I'm 12, he's 13.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and this particular week, we are helping people with their grieving.
Yeah,
because everyone's blockfolio and their crypto portfolios are crying, and we are trying to help console people with a little bit of comedy. But we're sad too. You guys.
Everything sucks.
That's awesome. Well, we're down like 20, 30% on each coin in the top 100. We were, I think we touched $4,038 or something like that. $4,048 on Bitstamp. That's pretty scary, right? That's right up there. Joel, you want to bring up a price? We've got the Bitcoin price. Sorry, we've got to get this clear. We've got Joel, and Joel, who's normally on the desk here, we're going to call him JR, aka the Big Dog. JR, aka the Big Dog, and we've got Joel Comm here as well. So JR, aka the Big Dog.
Woof.
Joel Comm, little dog.
Joel Comm, little dog.
Be nice, Mr. Travis Wright, or I'm going to bring up how Kansas City got, lost last night.
Yeah, that's true. We're talking to people down under. They don't care about that football.
Well, we support lots of sporting, but yeah, I guess the Bitcoin price has really gotten. That was, I guess, an aggregated price in terms of having Tether as well, but the USD price got very close to under $3,000. We went a lower low, which is very, very scary. You know, and I guess what's been the catalyst, do you guys think, that sent this price down so far?
I think the catalyst was the meteoric rise of last November to January. I think that the hype cycle was off the charts, that people were buying Bitcoin and other cryptos that had no business investing in it, were doing it just to make a quick buck. And the technology has not reached even the beginning of mainstream adoption yet. Combine that with the fears of regulation from different governmental agencies and uncertainty there, and people are afraid, and they want to put their money somewhere where they're not afraid.
You're completely wrong, Mr. Joel Comm. Completely wrong. No. I think, you know, he did make great points. Last year, that meteoric rise, I think, was precipitated by the fork and the creation of Bitcoin Cash, because whenever there was 16 million, you know, Bitcoin Cash out there, and then all of a sudden it got up to $3,000 or almost or whatever, and people were taking that out and buying Bitcoin and taking that out and buying altcoins. And you know, when we were looking at a total market cap of 850 billion US dollars, you know, back on January 7th, I believe. And today, what is it? 105 billion right now? Oh, it's crazy. So it might have to do with the fact that Bitcoin Cash forked again, and you know, all kinds of craziness that was going around with that. There was some news and people freaking out about that, and there's confusion in the market because you have Roger Ver, who owns Bitcoin.com, but that's Bitcoin Cash, but now it's Bitcoin ABC Cash XYZ, and then the other one's Bitcoin Cash SV, and then who knows what the hell's going on. And there's just people are trying to figure out, you know, who owns this, who owns that, who has most hash power. My hash power is better than your hash power. My dad can beat your dad, and it's just crazy.
What he said.
So something around that, something's going on with that. There's some manipulation or something.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Where's the bottom? That's the question. Where is the bottom of this whole thing? I mean, I'm looking at Coin Market Cap, and Bitcoin Cash is the biggest loser for the day, down 32% just in the last 24 hours, down to $220. Ethereum's at $127. We are officially below the market cap that we were at a year ago today.
Wow. So couple of so Huobi Australia head of legal and compliance Derek Henningsen has said there's a range of issues that could be impacting the price falls, such as the recent Bitcoin Cash fork and the hash war, the general geopolitical instability impacting the global share markets. Historically, Bitcoin and crypto has been identified as being uncorrelated with movements in share prices. However, the last few months has been increasing correlation, which may be a sign of more general concerns in the state of the global economy. And also, we've got Leanne Trong from Huobi Australia as well. She's the head of marketing, saying the peaks and troughs in Bitcoin's cycles itself show the history of when we've time and time again cried Armageddon, with the largest market correction being when Bitcoin dropped over 95% from its all-time high in 2011. It has since gone through multiple waves, rising and dropping over 50% at least half a dozen times since. Now, I think this global concern, you know, and geopolitically, I guess, not so much geopolitically, but geoeconomically, everyone is sort of experiencing a stock market crash as well. Do you guys think there's a correlation between the two?
There might be. I mean, certainly fear is fear, right? And if those who are holding the money are fearful, then I think it's going to impact a variety of investments. And maybe this is the beginning of the long, cold winter that, you know, Vinny Lingham talked about, that now hype is not going to drive crypto again. Only real solutions are going to drive crypto. And so now we're in this real development phase where every second of every, you know, day, blockchain is moving forward. Yeah. You know, these crypto crashes, this doesn't impact what people are doing, what businesses are doing in the crypto space. It doesn't slow them down from working on their projects. So we're going to come to a point where all of a sudden this stuff is going to roll out. It's going to be real world. And that's when we're going to wake up. That's when it becomes real.
Mm-hmm. That's what CZ of Binance has said. And also Charlie Lee of Litecoin. He goes, we've seen this before. Whenever this happens, whenever there's a bear market, you put your head down and you get to work, right? And so now people are getting to work. They're building their projects. You know, do we know where the bottom is? Well, I mean, I've looked at a lot of technical analysis on this, and from where we were before this flash crash, where we've gone from 6,500 down to 4,300. You know, if you look at this one guy he's pretty accurate from my estimation with Fibonacci numbers and sequences. He goes, the low should be it should be testing about 3,000 would be the ultimate low that it could get. But if we're looking at overall where we are, any one of these points, 4,000 could be the point where we bounce back up. 3,400 could be the point where we bounce back up, or 3,000 could be the point where we bounce back up. But on one of them, then we're going to start taking back off, hopefully in the right direction. But then again, you're talking about emotions. You're talking about people freaking out. You're talking about a lot of weak hands getting, they're like freaking out and they're selling all their cryptos.
I'm not freaking out. Why do you keep saying I'm freaking out?
You're freaking out, Joel. You're freaking out right now. I can tell you're freaking out. And, but there's always this manipulation threat that goes on that we see, right? So if the stock market goes down, well, then gold and silver should go up. But it doesn't, right? Because there's so much paper gold and paper silver out there that's being traded. So like there's a finite amount of gold and silver out there, but the way that it is that you can buy, for every 1 ounce of gold, I believe there's, 250 ounces of paper gold. And for every 1 ounce of silver, there's like 500 ounces of fake paper silver. And they're trying to do this with Bitcoin and futures and ETFs and being able to trade Bitcoin on. So there's this struggle going on between mainstream financial investors, the independent people, the global bankers. They're all trying to get in and move this so it works into their favor. And so we're seeing this struggle, and these weak hands are getting out and the price is tanking.
And just on that, with news with Bakkt right now is moving its launch date back to the 24th of January. Part of the delay was due to the volume of interest in the product. Do you think that, it's unclear whether it was too much volume or not enough volume or whatever it may be? Joel, I think you've got something to bring up here in terms of, JR, the big dog. Got a launch update here from Bakkt. And essentially, I guess it's hinted that there might be additional assets. We're taking opportunities in our startup phase to expand our offering. It just seems a bit unclear as to what exactly what's stopping this or inhibiting this or starting this faster. Do you guys have any view of what's going on here with Bakkt?
Well, one of the things with Bakkt, whenever it first was launching, one of the things that they pitched was, once Bakkt gets launched, then anyone can buy Bitcoin, or anybody can use Bitcoin or crypto at every Starbucks, right? Well, if that's the case, there are so many stores that would be very challenging to do. Now, there are other solutions out there that allows merchants to be able to take multiple cryptos, right? I mean, there's one called coinpayments.net. There's a few other ones out there that allow you to, if you're a merchant, to take multiple cryptos. So this is not a brand new thing, but I think the reason Bakkt is so big is because it's a big enterprise VC backed thing that has the power of some big banks behind it, and so it's big banks' attempt to accept multiple crypto payments. But who knows if they're freaking out because there's too much interest? Well, then that could slow it down. And if there's not enough interest, then they might want to slow it down too, just because they want to build that up. Now, with the price of crypto crashing, those retail sidelined investors, they're not going to jump in on crypto right now because they're, oh my God, it's scary. Look how volatile this is. I can't get on this. And so, it's people like us who are the veterans in the space at this point who are just like, hold on, folks, hodl. This is a ride.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing the hodl shirt today, even though I sold some crypto today. I thought that was ironic that I put it on today. It could be that the interest isn't there yet. It could be that they've got some more testing to do. It could be that they haven't got approval yet. Whatever the case is, baby ain't got backed. I've been holding on to that one.
Ain't got backed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
that one's been sitting there for a while. Now it's out.
Moving on, guys, I guess talking about VeChain, a proof of concept trial with Arket, who are a subsidiary of H&M. Obviously, they do supply chain stuff. It's just been rolled out. So JR, the big dog himself, got a bit of a video we can play here. We've got Dimitrios Neokleos, a VeChain brand ambassador, uploaded a short video of the beanie, NFC chip, and VeChain app in action. Do you want to roll this for us, JR, the big dog himself?
Hello, I'm Dimitrios Neokleos. I went for shopping today on Regis Street, and I shopped something from Arket shop. And let me show you how VeChain is involved. Here is what I got, and also there is the NFC chip there. And I'm gonna use my other iPhone I have here with the VeChain Pro application. I'm gonna try NFC there. More information. Here is the product, as you can see. I hope you enjoyed the video. It shows everything about VeChain, how the product is involved in the blockchain. Hope you really enjoy it. See you soon.
Da, Mr. Felicibista, this is Dimitrios Nikleosis. I just want to say you have very bad pronunciation of my name. So that's all I would like to say. I am brand ambassador for VeChain. Okay, have a good day.
Yeah, it's another test. It's another, it's a proof of concept, and now it needs to be rolled out. It's just going to come down to adoption. There's so many people and companies that are building cool technology and have some, hey, look at the little, doodad you could do on, your iPhone with crypto. But unless people start using it, unless these businesses roll it out, begin promoting it to their customers and their clients to actually adopt it, it's just a bright, shiny object.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I like about VeChain is the fact that, they're literally working with companies to eliminate forgery and fake products, right? Because I've actually been to China a couple times and I've seen some of these factories. And so like, say they're making Gucci bags and they have enough fabric to make 5,000 Gucci bags. But there's only an order for like 3,000 Gucci bags. And so they go ahead and make as many Gucci bags as they can with that fabric. And they send off the 2,500 or 3,000 that needs to go to Gucci. Now they have basically 2,000 fake counterfeit bags that are exactly the same as the other bags, but now they're different prices. But, that's one thing that sort of VeChain does with putting them on the supply chain, giving each item its own identifying code and ensuring that this one is legit and that one is not legit, even though they're both the same, right? So I think they're doing that with wine. They're doing that with all kinds of things to validate, because coming out of China, there's a lot of counterfeit type stuff.
Awesome stuff, guys. Let's talk about the Bad Crypto podcast now. I think because I think it'd be great for all our community and listeners and watchers to learn more about it. How did you guys kick off the actual show?
Travis and I have been friends for a number of years, and in late 2016, actually in fall, we discovered that we shared a lot.
I think you might need to dial up your mic. We need some more love.
How about that? How's that? How we doing now?
There
might be a short. There we go. Let's see.
And I can just get really close.
Oh, that's way better. That sounds better.
Yeah.
So Travis and I discovered that we share a lot of views in politics and social and cultural issues, and we began focusing on the election that was coming up here in the United States. And then that ended, and we discovered in spring of the following year, our discussions turned to this cryptocurrency Bitcoin thing. He was more familiar with it than I was, but it turned out every day we were messaging back and forth. What do you think of this Ethereum thing? And what about this token and the price of Bitcoin, and back and forth and back and forth. July 16th, 2017, he messages me and he says, when are we going to start the Joel and TW crypto show? And he was kind of saying it half serious, half sarcastic. But the moment he said it, I said, holy crap, yes, let's do it. 2 days later, website, domain registered, website up and running, first show released. And we thought, let's just, a lot of the crypto shows out there are talking over people's heads. They're too technical. They're too in the weeds with prices or technology that regular people don't understand. And we're just, two dudes talking crypto. And so that's what the show started as, and that's what it still is. We're still learning. We're still enjoying the journey, even though it's painful at times. And we're big believers in blockchain technology.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That's one of the things that we just got massive amounts of action, Fred. It was, we had this idea, let's do it. Boom. We did massive amounts of action. We decided, okay, let's build the site. Let's do this. Let's launch this. Let's do that. Boom, boom, boom. And back in December 2016, I wrote an article on Huffington Post where I was talking about all the craziness of the, 2016 election, and then how this Podesta guy got his phone hacked, and how the Russians are doing this and whatever, and WikiLeaks and who knows. But I said, we can complain about all these potential problems, but let's find a solution. And the solution is blockchain. And the solution is voter identity on the blockchain. That way you can verify and validate each vote, right? And so I'm a solution guy. We can bitch and cry and scream to the sky and cry all we want and pout and throw fits like a lot of people do in politics, but that doesn't solve problems and that doesn't bring people together. And so I said, let's solve the problem. Let's figure out what that is. And then over that, we just evolved and we started thinking about and talking about crypto, and we came up with bad crypto because we were not experts in it, and we're kind of jokers. And so we created the Bad Crypto podcast, and here we are 7 million downloads later. We've made it. We're all the way here in Australia now on the Finder Crypto show. And, we finally made it. My mom's really proud of me today.
I'm proud of you too, Trevor. That was a lot of words.
I was trying to match yours.
That was impressive. Guys, I saw you guys recently went to the World CryptoCon in Vegas. How was that? Anything weird happen there?
Yeah, people were really enthusiastic about crypto. That was really weird. We got to host and MC, introduce several of the keynotes, and do our show live on stage. And I think one of the coolest moments came while we were doing that show. We had Vinny Lingham, Ronnie Moas, Maxine Ryan, and Charlie Lee on stage for our live show. And Vinny and Ronnie got into it about metrics and what the price of Bitcoin was going to be. And Ronnie's prediction is that by the end of 2019, January 1st, 2020, Bitcoin would at some point have hit 28,000. Vinny Lingham said, no way, it's not going to happen. And Vinny challenged Ronnie to a bet. And the whoever loses that bet is going to give $20,000 to the Ross Ulbricht charity at freeross.org. So that was a real special moment we had there.
That was one of my other favorite moments of the show. Was so Ronnie Moas. I don't know if you know him or not. He's
guys. We've got a photo here from the event. So we've got you guys. Just want to understand this. I think Travis, you look like the guy from Back to the Future, and okay. Joel, you look like. Pretty sure that's a Mad Hatter interpretation going down.
That is Willy Wonka.
Oh, Willy Wonka. Okay, yeah.
And standing next to me is Erin Sell, the producer of the Bad Crypto podcast, and she is an Oompa Loompa.
Oompa Loompa. Okay, give us the story behind this photo.
Well, it was Halloween, right? And so that was one thing that was cool about the World CryptoCon is that, on day one, on Halloween, we had a crypto poker tournament. Excuse me. There were 9 tables, 81 players. Poker stars came in. There was a poker star on every table. Crypto people stars on every table. And so we played that during the day. That night, it was Halloween. And so they had the Crypto-ween party. So people were dressing up. And since we were hosts, I normally don't dress up for Halloween. I normally don't care. But Mr. Joel Comm was like, I'm going to be Willy Wonka. It's going to be hilarious. Need to get a costume. And so I was thinking about being Austin Powers, but then I decided to go ahead and be Doc Brown from Back to the Future, because we need to go back to January 2018 and sell all our cryptos, Marty. That's the story.
In terms of interest, I guess, in the crypto space, have you noticed, I guess, more or less people, or how's the interest continued over time? Does it affect the podcast at all?
Well, sure. I mean, obviously, during the hype cycle, you've got a lot more people that are listening. I'm sure you see that with your show as well, because, when times are good and money's, being printed, pretty much everybody wants a part of it. But when the market's down, only the people that are really interested in the technology are the ones that listen. So, we love our fans. They are the diehards. They tune in regularly to the show. We do 4 episodes most weeks, and it's a lot of content. We've got a lot to say. There's a lot of really fascinating people in this industry who are developing blockchain solutions. And, I've been building websites since 1995. And I said when we first started our show that where blockchain is now feels a lot like the whole internet felt to me when I built that first website. I know where this thing is going. The price of Bitcoin doesn't mean squat right now. We know that all around the world on any given day, there's a crypto event taking place somewhere, and thousands of people are working on blockchain solutions, and large companies are developing solutions, and the big financial institutions are figuring out how are we going to manage this? Not if we're going to be managing cryptocurrency, how are we going to manage it? So it's just a matter of time. And, will Bitcoin be the chosen coin still? I don't know. I can't answer that. But I do know that crypto is here to stay. Digital currencies are not going away.
Totally.
Yeah, one thing that we've said quite a bit on the show is that if you go back and look at, the growth of crypto trading just over the past few years, like back in 2014, I think it was about $15 million a day was traded in crypto. And then 2015, it went 3x up to about $42 million a day was traded in crypto. Then 2016, it went up to $200 million, to about $202 million a day on average was traded in crypto in 2016. But then in 2017, it 10x'd to $2 billion a day was traded. Now, if you look at now and see how much is traded in crypto, at some points during the year, I've seen it higher than $50 billion in a day. On average, it's about $15 billion a day. So like, if you look at that over and over every single year, that's a hockey stick that's growing like this with the amount of money that's being traded on a daily basis in crypto. And then we see all these different governments, all these different enterprises, all these different projects that are adopting, transparency and the distributed ledger technology. They're adopting blockchain. Is this going away? No, it's only becoming more integrated within society. The price is low right now because prices can be manipulated by powerful people who want to manipulate prices. But what's the true value of this over time? Well, right now we're sitting at a total cryptocurrency market cap at about $100 billion, which is 10 times less than Apple, one company, right? And so you mean to tell me that cryptocurrency as an industry or as a thing that's disrupting so many different industries isn't going to be worth $10 trillion in the near future, right? So I think we're only going to grow, but right now we're at a temporary loss because it's a bear market, and that's the way it is.
As the Rolling Stones once said, time is on our side. Yes, it is. I just ran across a story. Tom Lee of Fundstrat's been incredibly bullish on Wall Street about Bitcoin. And he is still, just an hour ago, this story posted that he is still saying $15,000 Bitcoin by year end, in spite of the crash. I mean, he came up with that today on CNBC's Squawk Box. So I don't know what he thinks is going to happen. That's going to get us back to this end of year bull run, but go Tom.
Yeah, I like you, Tom. You're delusional, but you're nice.
Guys, what's coming up for the podcast? Any special episodes or special things you wanted to shout out to?
They're all special episodes. We like to think that every show that we do is special in its own kind of way. We've got a Sunday night show coming up with Vinny Lingham from Civic and Steve Sprague of Rivets. We've got Justin Sun is going to be on the show next Tuesday. We've got a spin-off show that we're not going to spoil what it is, but that's coming next week. Lots of great guests coming up, and we are being invited to go MC or perform Bad Crypto live at a bunch of different events for next year. So we love going on the road. We love doing the live show on stage.
And we want to come to Australia, man.
We do.
I've been to Australia a couple times, but not with bad crypto. We need to organize some things there in Australia. What we thought about doing was like a bad crypto finder world tour, where maybe we go to Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne and Perth and maybe Adelaide, hit all those different cities right there and talk crypto and meet the fans. Cause we got a lot of, we have a ton of fans and we love down under. And it's our second biggest audience is in Australia. So we got a lot of fans down there and we've not had a chance to go down and meet them yet. And that saddens my soul.
And we want to do an Outback show.
We do. We want to hang out with some Aborigines.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Crocodile Dundee. It's not a knife.
That's a knife.
All right, guys. I'm going to give you a curly one. If you could
not put any curly ones in my food. That is disgusting. No short and curly ones.
Maybe some curly fries. But that. Travis, right? You're disgusting.
That was bad. Fred had to mute himself over there. He's all like, we're never having him on the show again.
That's done. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Beep, show goes off.
Right.
Yeah. No, we do have a curly one. If you could combine two coins, now you guys can both say your different ones, to form the ultimate cryptocurrency, which would they be?
What defines the ultimate cryptocurrency? Like legit or for comedy value?
I have a good answer. I would say I would merge Stellar Lumens and Monero. And because I don't think that there is a super private coin like Stellar Lumens that is so fast. I could send you crypto and Stellar Lumens in like 2 seconds and have it verified. And the way that they have it set up is every major bank in the world has its own, like if you're a Wells Fargo bank, then you have the Wells Fargo dollar, and you're a Citibank, then you have the Citibank dollar. And so then each one is pegged to its own self and it's like its own exchange. And so if I want to send money to Zimbabwe, then I can literally send Stellar Lumens to that Zimbabwean bank and they can convert that into their local currency with just super micro payments. It's like not even a penny. But there's no version that does that completely private like a Monero or a Zcash does. So to me, I would say privacy on top of Lumens.
Yeah, I actually like that answer better than I think anyone that I would give. So I'm going to let that lay right there and give point Mr. Travis Wright. Circle gets a square.
Suck it, Mr. Joel Com.
Sucking. Combine bad coin with Bitcoin. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Who's okay, here's the second one. Who's gonna win Bitcoin Cash ABC or Bitcoin Cash SV?
Don't know, don't care.
Well, it's looking like Bitcoin Cash ABC has more hash power, and that's the one Roger Ver is doing. So it looks whoever has the most hash power is the one that will win. But in the end, are they really winners?
Yeah, the thing that continues to hack both of us off, and I think a lot of other people, Roger is a super nice guy, super smart guy, well-spoken, but this whole branding of Bitcoin Cash as Bitcoin just seems to have done damage to the community. The Twitter, at Bitcoin, the Bitcoin.com, it's Bitcoin Cash's site. And it just, that brand confusion and this war within the Bitcoin community, I don't think is healthy.
All of these top miners and all these top core developers with these different splits that have taken off with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, now Bitcoin SV, whatever. All of these are, they are taking away from the core community. And instead of us coming together and saying, let's make Bitcoin better, what happens is there's these factions of people who try to take Bitcoin to control it for themselves, which is kind of a greedy dick move. They need to not do that. And let's work all together to make this better, because we're trying to wrestle power away from these global elite bankers and this, this hegemony and oligarchy that's in the world. And here we are, once a few people get a little bit of dollars and get some wealth, and they start getting greedy and trying to take power. It seems like that's what happens whenever anybody gets in power. They want more power. And how about we help make the world a better place first and foremost?
So no GDMs, as Mr. Travis Wright says. Greedy dick moves.
No greedy dick moves.
All right, guys. What are you guys seeing? What's going to happen, do you think, in the market, I guess, leading up over to 2019? Where do you think we're going?
I think we're in a really unusual time. You know, people were looking for trends in past Bitcoin charts, right? Bitcoin's been declared dead several hundred times. We've seen precipitous drops up to 90% before, and it always comes back to hit a new all-time high. I don't doubt that that is going to happen again, but I personally feel like it's going to be a much slower burn now. I don't see anything that's driving the market forward. You know, typically November is when we see a bull market. Well, guess what? We have an anomaly this year. And I think it's because the rise from last year in the hype cycle was so strong. That wasn't like that in the past. You know, Bitcoin went up a whole bunch in the past on the minority of people that understood this technology. This last rise was based on more people than ever having heard about it. So I think it's going to be a slow burn. There is going to be a consistent move up. We're going to see institutions begin to enter. We're going to see, you know, maybe Bakkt gets approved. We start to see some of, you know, the banks getting involved. We see some of the money from investors feeling more secure because there's finally some regulation from the SEC and other regulating authorities from, you know, around the world. And as that happens, we'll see more confidence and we'll see more adoption. But I don't know that it's going to, I don't think we're going to see it happen soon. I think it's going to be slow.
Well, I would say this. Great points, Mr. Joel Cobb made. I would also say this. I don't know what the price is going to be by the end of this year. But what I do have an idea on is when we reach that next halvening, right? So right now, every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes, I think 12.5 Bitcoin are created. Well, in 2020, the next halvening happens. Every time we've had one of those halvenings, 6 to 9, 12 months after that, that's when we always had this big meteoric rise in price. Every time. And so it's like every 4 years, historically now, we've had this big price bump. And so maybe it's going to take 2020 for us to reach that big, maybe midway through 2020 to reach that big price bump. Sometime after that halvening is when we're going to start seeing those big numbers. I don't think we're going to see the big numbers over $50,000 until we hit that next halvening. And it might not even get to $30,000. I think this 20,000 price was such an anomaly because of the Bitcoin Cash influx and then all this new wealth that people were just playing around with. Right now, people don't have that wealth to play around with like they did when Bitcoin Cash.
Well, and the ICOs also, Travis, all the ICOs, the ICO fever that people had. And, you know, those have, not that ICOs have dried up, but with so many waiting for regulation, and certainly the funds are not what they were before. We were seeing these companies come out of nowhere, you know, and raise millions and millions, $50 million.
Hundreds of millions, like Tezos, 200 million.
Right.
Crazy.
Absolutely insane. So we'll get there, but we need to be patient. And if this year hasn't taught us, you know, to stomach the ups and downs of crypto, then you don't belong in this space. If you
can't handle the crypto,
if you're not still smiling over the future of blockchain in spite of the prices, then go outside and, you know, go for a walk, find another hobby, because this is not just, you know, the web changed the world, but people, they laughed when, you know, Jeff Bezos started selling books out of his garage. They're not laughing today because a lot of them are out of business. I think that there's a lot of businesses that don't understand at this point how they're going to be disrupted by blockchain and cryptocurrency. And as they begin to wake up and see, some of them will wake up earlier, some of them it'll be too late, and they'll become the blockbuster videos, you know, of the future, and they'll be destroyed. But
does Australian people know what blockbuster video is?
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you guys have?
You had it in there? Okay.
Same thing.
We're the Vegemite. We don't want to be the Vegemite of crypto.
Vegemite's very strong, though. And it's actually owned by an American company now.
Really?
Probably Kraft Foods.
Yeah. Sweet. I can't wait to have a Vegemite sandwich. Actually, when I was down there, somebody made me a Vegemite sandwich, and I was like, ew.
Was it a man at work?
It was a man at work making me a sandwich.
Did he ask if you spoke his language? Did he smile when he handed it to you? I want to know.
Because it stinks. Because Vegemite stinks. I do love the beer. I love the Tim Tams. Those are amazing. There's a lot of great stuff down there in Australia. Vegemite is not one of them.
No, it's not. I like to call it Vegemite not.
Yeah, definitely not.
Well, you know, I don't know how to deal with that. Moving on.
Oh, goodness.
Moving on. Talking about, we actually, HiveX, have launched a new product in combination with a coin called IvyCoin. The product's called IvyPay, ivypay.com, and it allows you to pay your bills with cryptocurrency. So you can log in. We've got a little B-roll here, I guess, to show of how it works, guys, which is kind of cool. Basically, IvyCoin itself has been used for KYC and AML, and this service is one way in which they've been able to extend that and use it to make it an easy way to pay your bills. I've just got here the site, JR, the big dog man himself, in terms of how it works. It's fairly simple, a couple of clicks. You can choose your bill, whether it's VeChain, whatever it may be. Choose your cryptocurrency, and you can pay that bill using IvyPay, which is kind of cool. Very, very cool stuff, and you can read about it online and have a go of it. Allows you obviously to pay your bills with cryptocurrency. A cool little use case for using cryptocurrency.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
And it looks, I just took a look at the site. It looks real simple. I like that, and this, I think this is a key. Is that making crypto easy for people to understand? If I look at what's in my wallet and I pull out my Visa, I don't know how this little chip here works. I put it in and boom, it just works. This is what we need with crypto. We need solutions that are so simple that anybody can do it. It just works. They don't need to understand how it works. And so I like the approach you've taken with Ivy.
I wish you worked with the Joe Com.
I know, me too. I need to get a job. Haven't had a job in decades. True story.
Let's talk about the SEC. So right now, they've been cracking down pretty hard on some ICOs, in particular Salt Lending, and with Eric Voorhees of Shapeshift. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. Forgive me. Voorhees.
Voorhees.
Particularly also two firms, Airfox and Paragon, they were fined $250,000.
Isn't Paragon that pot coin?
I think so.
It is pot coin. It is.
Yeah. And they've asked to give investors a refund, which is interesting, on the ICO. That's going to be real spicy because if they collected it all in cryptocurrency, they're going to be pretty shortchanged. Yeah. Airfox raised $15 million. Paragon raised $12 million. And I guess it seems like a bit of a slap on the wrist to some extent, and they're allowed to continue on and fix what they've done. Is this normal for the SEC? Don't they normally just shut stuff down and it just closes it out? This seems relatively working with the industry as opposed to completely decimating it. What do you guys think?
Well, I think there's something that's really interesting that's going on with the SEC is that the SEC has a little bit of power. The CFTC has a little power because it's like a commodity. The IRS says that crypto is property. The SEC says crypto is a security. The CFTC says crypto is a commodity. So they're all trying to get their hands in the power of it, right? And so I don't think that the SEC maybe at this point has the jurisdiction just to shut everything down because I don't know that it's the governing body for cryptos yet. But you made a great point. Airfox raised $15 million in crypto. Paragon raised $12 million in crypto, which is now worth about $2 million. And right. Airfox is probably worth about $3 million if they didn't liquidate some of that crypto, which they probably did. But who knows? And so if they have to pay people back X amount of dollars, they don't have those dollars. They've already spent them. Plus, they've had a year of burn because they're building their business. That could be a very steep. That could put them under, quite frankly, if it's too steep of a thing. Because you know what? When the ICO craze was going on, the SEC had no words in it when it first started. This, earlier last year. Actually, whenever Ethereum came out, or I guess the very first one or the first other coin was Namecoin, but they didn't do an ICO, and Litecoin didn't do an ICO. There were other cryptos out there. Ethereum was the first one, I guess, to basically do a raise and sell tokens. But you know, that with them cracking down on that, that had tremendous, you know, tremendous power in keeping the market down, because there were some great coins out there that were poised to do some great stuff. Like Dragon Chain was a coin that I really liked. It made it all the way up to $5 a coin. It was basically poised to become its own Ethereum in America, where they're launching, you know, crypto projects and ICOs off the platform. The SEC came in and was telling them this and that. Now the coin is worth, I think, 11 cents, right? Like, that's a serious fall from grace. And so, yeah, the SEC cracking down on stuff, it's having a tremendous impact on the market overall, and they're stymieing growth. And it's jurisdiction over the United States. But the thing is, a lot of companies are leaving the United States and going and building their projects in more cryptocurrency friendly countries. So it's a double-edged sword when the SEC gets a little too overhanded.
Well, and allegedly they're doing it to protect consumers, and they're actually hurting a lot of people right now. And perhaps that's why they're taking a slow approach to it. You know, I'm hoping that we don't see a wholesale, you know, investigations on every ICO that, you know, took place in the last couple of years. That's going to really hurt a lot of people. And we're just going to have to wait and see. I just find it really ironic here in the land of the free and the home of the brave that we are amongst the most stymied, you know, people when it comes to investing in cryptos.
You know, I think so. Another thing in this is that they've been forced, I guess, to register as the token as a security, and there's this big movement towards security tokens. And then I guess the people who have purchased those utility tokens potentially might get security tokens. You know, maybe they'll make good and give some equity in the company, and therefore making the tokens very valuable. Do you think this is the trend? This is the way to fix some of these ICOs?
I think it's going to have to be. I mean, they're going to have to abide by whatever regulation, you know, they come up with. And I think that the companies that were offering these tokens, they didn't believe. You know, there might have been a few scams in there. I'm sure there were, but of the big names, they honestly thought that what they were doing was not offering a security. And I would still make that case. I think we're going to see a lot of court cases. The harder the SEC comes out fighting against these companies, I think we're going to see more and more of it go to court to examine what are these definitions, you know, of what a security actually is.
Mm-hmm. I would say this, that cryptos are not securities unless they are tied to a stock, right? Which some of them are merging, where the token is sort of tokenized stock shares, which tokens are not, right? It's like, for me, if I have a laundromat and I'm able to sell these tokens for my washer and dryer, and basically what I'm trying to do is sell these tokens so that way I can use that money and get revenue in advance, so I can take that money and buy more washer and dryers, so then you can use those tokens. And I've sold you those tokens at 1/10 the price of what they're going to be retail, so you can resell those tokens to other people who need to do their laundry, right? That's not, you're not owning a piece of my company to do that. You're owning a piece of my future profits. And so that's where I think a new organization needs to be created for this digital asset, crypto asset age. There needs to be the crypto asset, you know, trading commission, right? Or the crypto trading commission, not the securities commission, because it's not a security. It's not traditional security. It's not a traditional commodity. It's its whole new asset class. And so it needs to be treated accordingly, with its own organization, its own commission that is in charge of it. And until that happens, I don't think anything will be really fair.
Totally. And the other thing, I guess, with the SALT situation is Eric was previously involved with a 5-year ban from the SEC for violating various security laws. And I guess they're worried here is that they think potentially SALT, which he was involved with the ICO, could be deemed a security. And so you've got to double down here, where maybe he's involved with a security transaction as well as you know, his previous situation. That's super spicy, right? That's getting up to the another level. And then you've got another a fine being handed out to Ether Delta, which has been trading potentially securities tokens, and they've received a $400,000 fine. And then the SEC again cracking down on these decentralized exchanges, apparently decentralized, and hunting down the founders and owners of them. Do you think this is the right approach by the SEC to crack down on decentralized exchanges?
No, I don't. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up driving more underground crypto solutions like Monero and Zcash, because how do you shut down? Like, you can create a decentralized exchange that nobody owns, right? And it's not tracked back to any founder. And now what do? How do you shut that down if it's on, thousands of different nodes all over the world? You have to shut down the internet to shut it down. And so I think there's, the pushback from over-regulation and heavy-handedness is going to be more privacy coins that are truly untrackable and decentralized exchanges that are tied to no individuals or businesses.
That's a great point. I also want to talk about salt. And
you're going to get salty, Travis?
Well, we're here in America, and so we have an overabundance of salt since the 2016 elections. And so
we're salt mining here daily. People are super salty.
Yeah, very salty.
You raised my taxes and hurt my feelings, or lowered my taxes and hurt my feelings. I'm salty.
Yeah, it's true.
Super salt.
My fees. I think the SEC could, take a look at that and, investigate people whose feelings are overly sensitive.
That's true.
I've never heard fees before. That's a good one for me. All right, guys, wrapping up. Before you go, we have the producer behind the Daily Exchange, James Edwards, is heading to the mainnet launch of æternity in Rome, and he'll be covering the interview there. Do send through any questions that you guys have. And also, we have Power Ledger in the studio on Friday, which is an Australian ICO, kind of cool.
Love them.
It'll be joined by Dave
They
Martin.
were actually on our show while they were doing their initial ICO. They were one of the earliest crypto companies that we had on, and love what they're doing.
Yeah, we had Power Ledger and Horizon State, which is another Aussie, on the same episode back in October 2017. So we love our Aussie crypto companies.
Awesome stuff. We've got. I guess last check on prices, guys. Bitcoin is darting around $4,321, Ethereum $127, Ripple at 43 cents, EOS $3.76, Bitcoin Cash. I'm confused what price to say. I'm going to go $249. Not sure what you guys are seeing there. Ethereum Classic at $5.57 and Stellar at 18 cents. All right, guys, thank you so much, Travis and Joel, for joining us on the Daily Exchange. Do subscribe and do click the little bell, and also listen in and subscribe to the Bad Crypto podcast. It's incredible stuff. You hear the great guys, Travis and Joel. They've got so much incredible information and knowledge, and I appreciate for you joining the show.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
Yes, Stay and bad. as we like to say, in the land of the Republic of Bad Cryptopia, stay bad.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah.